Obsidian says Larian's experience let it knock Baldur's Gate 3 multiplayer out of the park, but it wouldn't have been possible for Avowed. Joshua Wollens over at PC Gamer. Once upon a time, Obsidian's upcoming Skyrim-esque, but definitely not Skyrim, RPG Avowed was set to have multiplayer. You'd have been able to John about Aurora with a pal or two before the studio realized that, hang on a sec, that's not a very Obsidian thing to do. So the idea was dropped, almost certainly for the better, and Avowed became the thoroughly single-player experience we've seen in its showcases. But in a recent chat with Windows Central, Obsidian shed a bit more light on the decision to go solo, particularly in the wake of stonking access to Baldur's Gate 3 and its co-op mode. My only fear would be that it wouldn't run with the ass, Scott.
Yeah, that was the issue with Larian.
It was. Quote, it was a very big creative and technical challenge to find a way to build multiplayer while also fulfilling things that we are strong at as a studio, end quote, to the game director Carrie Patel. The things that Obsidian is good at, as you might have guessed, consists of stuff like, quote, a really solid campaign and a crit path story, end quote, that lets players make, quote, impactful decisions while really shaping the world and the characters around them, end quote. All of which, I'd agree, is the stuff Obsidian is good at, and the devs decided to stay good at them while, quote, building the systems needed to support multiplayer and also designing content, conversations, and everything else that makes that work, end quote. Just wasn't going to be feasible, and so multiplayer was dropped completely. Like I say, I think it's the right move, but it does make you ask what secret sauce Larian has that lets it pull off a big sprawling RPG with a reportedly very fun multiplayer mode. Obsidian has answered for that too. Quote, it's not that any of these challenges are unsolvable. The Larian Studios team built an incredible RPG with Baldur's Gate 3, and they've had years of experience with Divinity Original Sin, working at building multiplayer within a really robust RPG framework, end quote. In other words, the difference between Obsidian and Larian, at least insofar as multiplayer is concerned, is just experience. Thoughts, Scott?
Well, yeah, we've seen Obsidian do that kind of multiplayer crafting game, but it wasn't so narratively strong, which is strange because that's kind of where Obsidian comes in. That's the strengths of Obsidian, is that RPG interconnectedness. But it's interesting to see them just kind of, it's a mature decision to see them put that to the side. We don't need multiplayer in this game. We want to make that strong single player experience, but at the same time, they're trying as hard as they can to differentiate from Skyrim. How better, or what would be better than having multiplayer?
Which is fair, right? But here, so I can't really speak on Baldur's Gate 3 because I haven't played it. But what I can speak of is the multiplayer, because my brother kind of explained what's going on when he's playing the game. So just gotta bear with me here a little bit. So when he jumped in with his friends, my brother actually stated that he likes to play Baldur's Gate 3 solo more than playing with his friends, because as conversations come up and one of your friends go this way, all of a sudden now you're stuck waiting, and you wait and you wait, and then when they're done, then somebody else jumps in, and then you wait some more. So there's still some problems I think to be worked out there, some bugs to be kind of cleared away so that everybody can kind of keep working away at something. But I don't know, we definitely want to know from you guys if you played it. I'd love to know more about the multiplayer, just out of a curiosity thing more than anything else. But I think this is the right move. At the end of the day, I think I'm just in there for this single player experience, Scott. As much as go ahead.
Oh, if this narrative is going to pull me in, and if Avowed becomes more than just a one and done, then I'm really hoping that it's going to be that story thread that grabs me. It's going to be some impactful characters. It's going to be some things that Obsidian in the RPG side really excels at.
And I think, honestly, Xbox needs a solid single-player game right now. I don't think they need to be focused all on the multiplayer side of things, which they're not, clearly. But at the same time, when it comes to multiplayer in a storytelling experience, it's hard to understand the story when you got everybody in the party chatting away and you're missing the cutscene because somebody else won't stop talking, right? So it's like, yo, I'm trying to hear this, and I know you're talking about your day and all, but how about you zip it for about 2 minutes while I can find out what's going on and then continue on my story, right? So for me, I'm a big story narrative guy. I love a good story. I love a solid something that pulls me into the world. And Obsidian is fantastic at what they do, right? So I'm hoping that Avowed really kind of pulls me in. As much as I love a good co-op experience, dude, if you did this with one other person, maybe, right? So you, a buddy, way to go. You can experience this story together. My wife and I talk about it all the time on the show. Gears 5, start to finish, co-op, fantastic, dude, fantastic. And they do that with Gears 6. I don't know. Could they have done that here with Avowed? Sounds like they had something cooking, but it just wasn't really the direction they wanted to take the game, which is understandable. So we'll see if this pulls me in. Scott, where are you? Where's your temperature level, we'll call it, out of 10 when it comes to Avowed?
It's starting to heat up. At first, I was very excited by what I saw, the promise, the idea, and I was fooled into thinking it was more of a Skyrim game, but that's okay because we saw the first combat trailer and it was a little bit disappointing. It wasn't that exciting, so it kind of waned for a while. But now that I'm seeing that Obsidian is doubling down on what they're good at, and this is really coming to the finish line in a good shape, I'm excited. I really can't wait for this one to drop.
Yeah, no, definitely. I'm heating up as well, right? I'm getting excited. We're still waiting on that release date, though. Like, yo, what's happening here? What is happening? When are we going to play this game? When do you expect to play this year? So, the end of summer, holiday season. What are you thinking?
I'm gonna hazard a guess and say November.
Oh,
yeah, kind of late, but that's what I'm thinking.
I'm wondering if they're waiting to see what else drops, so that they can have like a month to themselves. I think that's what they're kind of waiting. Right? I think Avowed needs to shine when it can shine on its own and not have the big competition, because it is somewhat of a new IP, right? They're building up some of the other products and games that we've all played and stuff like that. But at the same time, this is brand new in a sense too. So how do they have their own time to shine for a week or two while people can just play this and talk about this and create that buzz around Evolve?
Oh, we need a solid launch to keep this going. But I'm thinking it's going to be dropping next to something that PlayStation will release to try and steal the spotlight.
Competition.
That's what happened to Horizon, unfortunately, most of the time. But Horizon endured, luckily.
Absolutely. We want to hear from you. Are you excited for Avowed? ITGTV.com.